Good morning. Today is Friday, November 2nd, and it is a white day. Stay tuned at the end of the broadcast for a special look at Governor Shumlin's visit to BUHS from yesterday.
BUHS Book Club copies of The Boy Who Could Not Sleep and Never Had To are in the library. Stop by and pick up a copy. New members are always welcome. See Mrs. Alley in the library for more information.
On Wednesday, November 7th, there will be an FBLA meeting after school. It will run from 3:30 to 4:30 in room 294. All members are encouraged to attend as it will have information in regards to our upcoming Santa letter campaign. It hasn't...
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. Tisk, tisk. It hasn't been raining anymore. I've heard rumors that there's going to be snow coming up. Hey, Keegan. We'll see what Keegan has for weather. Yeah.
Yeah. Going over.
Okay. All right. Well, today we got a high of 48, low of 34. Pretty cloudy out there. Tomorrow, high of 46, low of 31, cloudy again. Sunday, high of 45, low of 25. Still cloudy. I don't know what's going on. It needs to be sunny, but supposedly there's snow coming next week, but I don't know. We'll see. Back to the desk.
Thank you, Keegan. For all FBLA members who participated in the Joe Corby pizza sales, orders will be delivered to the Career Center on Wednesday, November 14th. Come by either during 4th block or immediately after school to the acoustic conference room to pick up your orders. Deliver your items to the same or on the same day, as these items are frozen and should not be thawed out until necessary. We do not have any room to store any more items.
On Wednesday, the Political Action Committee hosted a mock election here at school. Keegan was out on the field collecting great content. Let's see what he has for us.
What do you think about the mock elections at BUHS?
I think it's a really good idea because a lot of the students here don't get to actually vote, and it's a good way to get it so we have our opinion and we can see what this, if our school was in charge, then what would happen.
Who did you vote for?
I voted for Obama.
On October 31st, 2012, PAC, the Political Actions Committee, held a mock election.
I'm going to go for Peter Welch.
Yeah, Peter Welch, Bernie Sanders, Barack Obama, Peter Trump.
How do you feel about the mock elections at BUHS?
I think they're actually pretty cool. I'm actually voting for Rocky Anderson in the presidential debate, but since I'm not old enough to vote...
We are here to run the mock election and to get votes from students and faculty and staff at BUHS. I think it's really important to get kids active in politics, even if technically this vote doesn't matter. Yeah.
When will we find out the results of the election?
Should be tomorrow. Yeah, should be tomorrow.
Okay, how old do you need to be to vote?
18. Need to be 18 to vote.
And when is the election for real?
The real election is next Tuesday, November 6th. And if you're a Brattleboro resident, you can vote right in the gym here.
Cool.
Or at the town office. Or you can vote early.
The results are in for the winner of the president in our mock election was Obama and Biden, who had about 80% actually. And our runners-up were Romney and Ryan, who had 7.2%, and also Lindsay and Osorio, I don't know the name, with 5.3%, Johnson and Gray, 3.1%, Anderson and Rodriguez, just 4%. There were also a few write-in candidates, like Romello Lindsay with 5 votes, and Tim Kipp, Batman and Jesus, Rick Ross, Sam Gardenstein, and Ron Paul, all with 1 vote. The winner of the governor was Mr. Shumlin with 55.9% of the vote, Lieutenant Governor Cass Gekas with 61.3%, U.S. Representative Peter Welch, 67.1%, Senator Bernie Sanders with 51%, and Attorney General Bill Sorrell with 54.1%. Back to desk.
Thanks, Mika. Community service hours can be earned over Thanksgiving vacation for sitting at the information and display booth on November 23rd, 24th, or 25th for the Putney Craft booth. You would be working for a 2-hour shift on any of the 3 days at the Putney Inn off of Exit 4 in Putney. 2 people are needed per slot, which runs from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Contact Ms. Denord for more information and sign up. Although fall sports have already ended, winter sports are just beginning. Let's check in with Brian for sports.
Thank you. Today, the JV girls soccer team will host a parent versus player game at the Tick Field after school. Attention! Anyone who is interested in softball or preseason weightlifting should meet in the weight room on Monday at 3. Anyone who wants to play softball can also attend weight training. The girls ice hockey team will meet on Monday, November 5th at 3:45 in the BUHS gym. All participants are expected to stand. Change of meeting venue. The preseason basketball meetings will take place in the BUHS gym next Monday, November 5th. Boys basketball will meet at 3:30 and the girls basketball will meet at 4. Students in grades 9 through 12 who want to play basketball are expected to attend. There will be a preseason meeting for interested skiers in November 8th on the BUHS multi-purpose room. The meeting begins at 5:30 and is open to all students in grades 9 through 12. There will also be a roller skiing clinic on Saturday, November 10th at 2 o'clock in the BUHS faculty lot. The season begins on Monday, November 26th. Back to the desk.
Thank you, Brian. FBLA is currently looking for some people to join the Feed the Thousands Committee and help out by collecting money in cans. For those interested in joining the committee, please message Oliver Hustis on Facebook or email him at ohustis@wses or wsesu.org by November 7th. You'll be able to earn at least 1 hour of community service. Well, BUHS, that's all we have for you today. We will leave you with a look at Shumlin's visit.
We are joined today by our 81st and current governor, Peter Shumlin. Governor Shumlin was born and raised in the Brattleboro area and lived in Putney before being elected. He and his brother operate Putney Student Travel, a study abroad program for high school and college students. Before he was elected governor in 2010, he served 8 terms as one of 2 Windham County senators and was elected president pro tempore of the Senate by his colleagues. He was first elected to public office at the age of 24 when he was elected to the Putney Select Board. Governor Shumlin was also part of the founding board of Landmark College, which serves students with learning disabilities in Putney. As both senator and governor, Shumlin has championed issues of marriage equality, marijuana decriminalization, job growth, and the expansion of green energy, among others. The Brattleboro Political Action Committee is proud to introduce the Governor of Vermont, Peter Shumlin.
Thank you so much, Lachlan. He's my neighbor, so we got to be truth in advertising here. He's a Dusty Ridge kid. But thank you so much. He's doing a great job on the State Board of Education. Appreciate all the good work you're doing there on behalf of all the students here. Thanks so much to all of you. I want to thank the committee, particularly Maya and Hannah and Lachlan for their good work, but mostly to all of you for the extraordinary work that you've been putting in to make Vermont the best democracy of anywhere in America. It really is. And it's because we're grassroots, because of the work you've been doing, knocking on doors, making phone calls, helping to get the vote out, doing all the things that really make a difference in elections. So, Mr. Kipp tells me you're pushing 400 hours of cumulative service. I got to tell you, democracy only works when you get involved. And I want you all to give yourselves a hand for being the best example of how to get out there and make a difference. It is not big money in Vermont. It is the hard work, the shoe leather that makes the difference in getting us elected. And I want to tell you as a governor, thank you from the bottom of my heart. It's not so much who you vote for, it's that you're participating that makes a difference. So let's give you a hand. tell you a few things about what we've been up to and why I'm running for re-election, and then I want myself and my team to answer questions. Wouldn't you rather have a question and answer session than a long lecture? Or do you want the long lecture? Let's do a show of hands who wants the long lecture. All right, that's unanimous. So we call that a unanimous decision in democracy. Listen, I'll introduce my team I got with. I got Jimmy Wilbur, Vermont State Police. Jimmy, give us a little wave so they know who you are. He keeps me safe from dangerous people like you. Thank you, Jimmy. We got Drew Wesley, who's on my full-time staff. Drew, come on up and have a chair up here. And Carolyn Wesley, Brattleboro Union High School graduate, running my governor's office. If you work hard enough here at the high school, you can run state government just like Carolyn is. So let's give Drew and Carolyn a hand. Now, why did I bring them up here? I brought them up here because we're 5 days out, 4 days out from an election. They're scared to death, and I'm going to say something so stupid in front of that camera that we're going to go down in flames. So they're going to be here to make sure that they answer the questions accurately, and I'll be my customary engaging self. Okay, that's a promise. So listen, I just want to say a word about why I'm so grateful to you for the work you're doing. Vermont happens to have, I believe, the best democracy in America. Period. Why is that? Because in a world of Citizens United, where big money, corporate money, corporations being considered citizens, an extraordinarily bad decision by the United States Supreme Court. Across America, you can see what's happening. The corporations are spending billions, not millions, but billions of special interest dollars to see to it that they control our democracy. And here in Vermont, we are fortunate to have people like Bernie Sanders and Pat Leahy and Peter Wells in Congress, and citizen legislators from here in Brattleboro and other places doing the work for democracy because they care about the issues, not because they're beholden to big corporations. So your work, the calling, the shoe leather, the knocking on doors, putting up yard signs, figuring out issues and advocating for whatever candidate you believe in is the reason why our democracy works here. I want to talk a little bit about what my job as governor and why I'm running for another term, and then I want to take questions. Listen, here was my challenge when I got elected. First, I want you to know I'm the first governor from Windham County, born and raised in hundreds of years, probably ever, but actually from this county, the center of the state, south of Route 4, first governor in 50 years. That's because Windham County delivered for me in my primary, in my general election. I would not be here without your parents, without you, without your good work. Why does it matter? I believe that I am doing things that other governors don't dare do, that will make a difference for you in your future, to have a job, and a good job right here in the state of Vermont. That's my goal. My goal is when you're all done with me, and we governors aren't like Congress people, you know, we have people like Senator Sanders, Senator Leahy, Carson Welch, have been down in Washington for years. They just get better and better with age. Governors don't. We are on a short leash. We go in, we assemble a team of exciting people, we try to drive through our agenda, and after 4 to 6 to 8 years, we hope it's not 2, the voters tend to be done with us and we move on and go back to private life doing whatever we did. So here's our opportunity as far as I'm concerned, why I want so badly to be reelected. This is what we've been doing. My challenge was when I got elected, coming out of the worst recession in American history, that we had too many Vermonters that didn't have a job, or, more importantly, too many Vermonters who found that they had a job, or 2, or 3, or 4, or in some cases 5. And I know your moms, or your dads, and your brothers, your sisters are in this boat, uncles and aunts. But their incomes were stagnant. They were making the same money when I took office that they were making 10 years ago. But you all know that when your folks or you pull up to the gas pump, it's $4 a gallon, not 2 that it was 10 years ago. When you go to the grocery store down in Price Chopper down here, you come out and you're not paying the same price you were 10 years ago. For those of you that are going to go to college or to tech school or anything more beyond here, and I hope you all do, we'll talk about that in a minute, that it costs a heck of a lot more than it did a decade ago. So that was my challenge. So this is what I did to try and grow jobs and try to grow incomes over the last 2 years. First, I went to where the real taxes were that were driving your parents and you into stagnant incomes. Where is it? The biggest tax increase on you every single day, and on every one of your teachers, and every person in Vermont, is the hidden rising cost of health care insurance premiums. That's what's driving costs in Vermont faster than we can keep up. Healthcare happens to be the biggest single rising cost in Vermont of any of the things that we pay for, with the exception of gasoline and oil. And we don't produce that in Vermont, so I can't do much about that one. So, what do? We are passing the first single-payer healthcare system in America, where healthcare is a right and not a privilege, where the insurance, the coverage, the benefit of healthcare follows the individual, isn't dependent upon your employer. And most important, where we use our healthcare dollars to make people healthy. This is kind of a novel idea in America. By the way, everyone else in the world does this, but in America we don't. Not for insurance company profits, waste, inefficiency, and a crazy fee-for-system payment system, where our providers get paid for the quantity of work they do to us instead of the quality of work they do to us, keeping us healthy. That's what we're trying to do in Vermont. Now, my opponent says, wow, this is really scary. You know, Governor, the unknown scares us. And I keep saying, listen, folks, I'm a simple Vermont kid, born in Brattleboro Hospital, taught basic logic. It isn't what I don't know that scares me. It's what I know about our healthcare system that scares me. And this is what I know. Two things. With our hearts, and after I read, there's no better example of big hearts than the people of the state of Vermont. But with our hearts, we know that it's wrong to have 45,000 Vermonters who don't have any health insurance. With our hearts, we know that it's wrong to have 160,000 Vermonters who are underinsured. That means they pay those for-profit insurance companies a ton of loot, but if they really get sick, the gap between what they will be asked to pay and what the insurance company will pay for them, their coverage, will lead to catastrophic financial choices. That's with our hearts. Now let me speak to our Bill Clinton mathematical heads for a minute. This is what I know about the math. It's not very complicated, and I have brought math to the governorship, and I'm proud of it. Here's the math. At current rates of growth, if we keep spending for the next 3 years on health care at the same rate that we did for the last 10 years in the state of Vermont, we will be spending $2,500 for every living Vermonter on health care by 2015. That's 3 years from now by my count, that we're not spending today. $2,500 every living Vermonter. If you're a family of 4, that's 10 grand every single year on health care we're not spending today. Here's simpler math. Today, Vermonters spend collectively $5 billion a year on health. Now, for those of you that aren't math whizzes, and I certainly am not, last time I checked, there's 1,000 million and a billion. So we spend 5 of those right now. By 2020, which is 8 years from now, at current rates of growth, we will be spending $10 billion in this little state of Vermont on health care. So I say to Randy, hey, that's what scares the heck out of me. And I can tell you that as a governor who was elected at a time when Vermonters are making the same income as they were 10 years ago, I don't think there are too many Vermonters who think that Vermont has $5 billion rattling around that we haven't figured out how to spend yet. That's what scares me. So we are passing the first sensible healthcare system in America, and I am bound and determined to get it done because my heart tells me our current system is wrong, and the mathematical part of my brain tells me that we can't afford what we got, and we can do much better with universal access, quality health care, in a system that doesn't require you to take a job that you don't want to take because you need health care coverage. Second, I made a simple promise that we can't grow jobs and incomes in this state if we continue to be in an environment where this thing doesn't work. And I don't need to tell you here in Windham County, the thing don't work too often. So here's my promise. I have promised that by 2013, and I keep seeing, thank God, there's 12 months in 2013. But in 2013, that means December 31, I will have every last mile of Vermont connected to high-speed internet access, no matter where you live in the state of Vermont, and we are delivering on that promise. We can't grow jobs We can't grow economic opportunities. We can't navigate our way out of disasters like Irene. We can't communicate with our friends if we're not connected. Now, here's the facts. When I took office, we were behind Bosnia in connectivity. We were behind Croatia. We're behind Vietnam. We're behind Cambodia. And we're behind the other 49 states. I am delivering on a promise of connecting Vermont high-speed access, and I will not rest until we get it done. 2013, December 31. Third, education. Third is education. Now this really matters to you. Listen. Here's what's changed since I became governor. When I went around and talked to our employers in the beginning, I do a lot when I was governor. I just left Commonwealth Yoga where we announced another $12 million expansion, another 40 jobs up there. GS Precision right next door, looking for employees, say they grow 25% next year if they can find enough workers to do the jobs they have. Let's go on and on. This is what employers were saying to me 2 years ago. Governor, thinking about doing a layoff. Or we are doing a layoff. You know what they say to me now? Governor, things are looking up. We're coming out of this recession faster than the other states. We can't find enough people trained to do the jobs that we have. That's a problem we can solve. I promise that we will take our great education system in Vermont, and we have a great one, and make it even better. Universal access to early child education, because we know that when we get there early, we all win. Better, more affordable, higher education. That means that downtown Brattleboro should have a CCV Vermont Tech campus where first-generation kids and other kids can get the education they need to get a great job. Now, unlike other governments, I don't think you need a 4-year degree. I don't want to get shot for saying that, but it's true. You don't. I'm dyslexic. I learn differently. If I hadn't had a single teacher up in Putney as a kid, long before there was special education and any other services are now, you just sank or swam back in those years. I got called in the classroom by my principal, in the principal's office, by a principal in 2nd grade. This is how we did it in Vermont in the 60s. And they brought me in. My mom and dad were there. I said, whoa, I've been in this principal's office a few times, but I haven't seen my mom and dad here yet. I knew it was in trouble. And they looked at me. This is true. And they didn't look at me. They pretended I wasn't there. They looked at mom and dad. They sat me down and they said, you know what? We can't teach this kid how to read. He's not going to go to college. He's not going to have a professional career. But we'll do the best we can. And they sent me back to the classroom. Now, for those of you that learn differently in this room, that was a great day. I mean, that was really my tops for school, you know. That makes you love school, right? Giving up on you, send you back to class. I had a single teacher. For those of you might have known, her name was Claire Oglesby. She was the best. She would take me, this is not a story, to her log cabin on Windmill Hill Road in Westminster, West Vermont. Now, I'm old, but I want you to know not everybody lived in log cabins back then. It's just Claire and that kid. And in the warm weather, we'd sit on our lawn. And in cold weather, we'd sit around our wood stove, and she taught me how to read. She saw something in me that she'd seen other kids. Here's my point. I could well not learn how to read. Now, if you look around the country, I got elected governor, more new governors at any time in the history of America 2 years ago, and a lot of them are Tea Party governors. Scott Walker, Wisconsin, Governor Rick Scott, Florida, a whole bunch of them. If you got to know them like I have, you might think a lot of them can't read, but they can. And it's really tough to be a governor if you can't read. Here's my point. If we can get you beyond high school, technical training, the difference is this. To run a $2 million machine at GS Precision, which is, as you know, computer-operated, often robotics, if you can just get a year or two of tech school, it'll be a difference between a $9 or $10 job an hour and a $30 to $34 an hour job for the rest of your life. So my message as governor is best education system we can build, affordable. We're not telling you got to go to college. It sure helps. Get as much education as you can. But we are telling you if you can get more than high school, you're going to do better and will have the workforce that can do those jobs those employers are talking to me about. And finally and last, energy. Listen, this is really why it matters that you join the active grassroots work that you are. We have left you a mess that no other group of young people in America has ever been left with. Politicians don't like talking about it. It's called climate change. It's all the oil and coal that we're addicted to, that we burned before you got placed on this great earth. It's true. So why democracy really matters is that people like me, the politicians, who are paid for by the oil and gas companies, I'm not, but many are beholden to them. And I just want to connect the dots here for a second. I've been governor for less than 23 months. I've managed 4 major storms in that 23 months. The biggest blizzard in the history of Vermont a year ago March. The storms of April. The storms of May, where we got extraordinary flooding. We lost homes, we lost bridges, we lost culverts, we got wiped out. We brought in the president, FEMA, and all the rest. Irene. And last week, Sandy, not in Vermont, but everywhere else in New England. That is a harbinger for what lies ahead for us. Any objective scientist will tell you that if we don't get off oil, if we don't get off coal, immediately, your future is unlivable on this planet. Your kids' future is unlivable on this planet. This is sort of a big one, folks. You know, I'm just amazed that more people in democracy are talking. I'm running against a guy who claims that it doesn't exist. Seriously. He says, don't subsidize renewables. Why? Why waste the money? Just keep doing what we've been doing. That's easy for him to say. He's almost 70 years old, you know. Here's the point. In Vermont, we're building out wind and solar and biomass. We're going to harness the wind, the sun, our fields, our forests, and our streams, do energy efficiency right, and while we're doing that, guess what? We're growing jobs. So I talked longer than I said I would. But here's the proof that we're making progress. Here's the good news. In the 3 months that I've been in office, here's the results of those things that we've been doing: connecting Vermont, affordable health care system, best education system we can build, and renewable energy. We have more green, clean jobs per capita in the state of Vermont than we have anywhere else in America. We now have the 6th lowest unemployment rate in America. We have the fastest growth rate of jobs of any of the New England states. And here's the one that really makes me happy. It was announced 3 weeks ago that Vermont is the only state of the 49 states, of the other 49, I should say, we got 50 states, I got that one figured out. We're the only state that saw income growth. What I was talking about is the biggest challenge. It only went up 4% in 2011, but guess what? That's 4% better than the other 49 states in America. So my plea to you is keep up the great work you're doing. Those that came before you left you a heck of a mess to clean up. I'm willing to help you try. I hope you'll give me another 2 years so we can continue the good work that we've begun. I'd be happy to take your questions and fire up. But just tell me who you are when you ask me. And Carolyn and Drew are going to help me. I hope. Peter? Yes.
Hi, I'm Stacy. I'm from Westover. Just a question on your healthcare program. With the current presidential election, we have Romney who's talking about privatizing or doing healthcare statewide, like state for state, and Obamacare. Your program sounds like Obamacare, but it's just for Vermont. Which one do you align yourself more with? This
answer is going to surprise you, but neither. And I'll tell you why. Romney has no plan. If you ask him what he's going to do, it's true. If you ask him what he's going to do about health care, it changes every day. Sometimes he says, I'm going to do what I did in Massachusetts, and all through the primary he wouldn't talk about what he did in Massachusetts. And now at the presidential election series, he's talking about something, but if I asked any of you specifically what it is, I bet you $20 you couldn't tell me. Now, Obama has a plan, and I hope it goes into effect, but it doesn't solve the problem. And it doesn't solve the problem because it doesn't do anything about the cost containment challenge I just talked to you about. So what Obamacare will do for Vermont is give us about $400 million to help subsidize health insurance for people that struggle to pay for it. It's a good bill. It just doesn't answer the problem. It's not universal access, it's not publicly funded, and it doesn't reduce costs. So neither of them are going to solve our problem. That's really the truth. And that's why Vermont is going along. And I keep saying, when we get this right, how many friends do you have in New Hampshire, as an example, where I know we've got a teacher here who's made the mistake of living in Massachusetts. I say, when we have the first sensible healthcare system in America, they're all going to want to come here and grow jobs and economic opportunities. So it's a job creator. And these guys that are driving in out of state, they're not going to want to go across the bridge, and they're not going to want to go back down to Massachusetts because we're going to have a sensible system.
Thank you very much.
Yes?
My name is Sarah Cooper, here, and I live in Brattleboro. When Randy Brock was here, one of the things he was stressing in his approach to jobs was the idea of simplifying the process to start a new business. And
you talked about earlier, you're down at Commonwealth and grants and stuff. What's your view on the other side of that, making it simpler to start a new business as opposed to the businesses we already have when we do have the competition with these neighboring states?
It's a great question. And here's the answer. When you really go out and talk to business people in Vermont, and you say, I've built 2 businesses here, and I've been successful at both. And I'll tell you, they all say, the Republicans when they're running for office in the state, I'm not particularly partisan government, but this is what they all try to convince you. The permitting process is so terrible in Vermont that it's driving out jobs and it's really hard to start a business here. Well, I can just tell you the facts. It's not true. It's just not true. Now let me give you concrete examples. Mining Technologies, as far as battery you can get, St. Albans, Franklin County. They make not generic pharmaceuticals. They're the good guys. They don't rip you off with all the high-priced ones. They make cheaper pharmaceuticals. They've been in Franklin County for years. They're the biggest employer in Franklin County. They were going to do an expansion, 136 high-paying jobs. They can do it anywhere in the world. All their plants here in America, they've got plants in China, they're everywhere. So I try to woo those jobs just like any governor does. So I call him up and say, Tony, it's down in St. Louis headquarters. How can I help you? He says, well, we hear your permitting process is really bad. I said, well, yeah, you got to go through Act 250. He said, well, I hear it's going to take me 2 years. I said, Tony, try it. If it takes you more than 34 days, call me. Guess how long it took? 28 days. So I sit him down the other day because he chose to grow his jobs here. We're doing the announcement. I said, Tony, I said, tell me what made the difference for you? Why did you come to Vermont? In the end, just cut the BS. Why did you do it? This is what he said. He said, it helps that I can call the governor and get him on the phone. I can't call up the governor of New York or California and get them on. But he said, you've got a permit process here that when I have a problem, or if I do have a problem, he was so passionate and efficient I could believe it. He said, this is really what matters. He said, of the workforce, and workforce is the one thing that matters to us, Vermont has the hardest working, most loyal, dedicated workforce of any place that we do business in America and anywhere else in the world. So I understand these candidates go around dooming and glooming jobs. Oh, we got a terrible permit process. Not true. We got a workforce, your moms and dads, uncles and aunts, Vermonters, that work harder, smarter, and faster than the workforce anywhere else in the world. Let's tell the story. I am telling the story. And guess what? We're growing jobs. So next time a politician jumps to you and says doom and gloom, terrible place to grow jobs, hey, listen. The evidence doesn't support that. Talk to the CEOs that are growing jobs here. Why is it we have the 6th lowest unemployment rate in America? Why are we coming out of this recession faster than others? Because we got the work folks, buddy, and the permit process is fast and reasonable. Now I'm going to close with this. So I voted dealer.com 2 weeks ago. They're growing all kinds of jobs. If you're techies here, they want to hire you. They'll start you at $70,000, $80,000 a year. They do websites for car dealerships all over the world. They started in a garage in Burlington. They got 660 employees right now, good, fast-paying jobs. They can't grow fast enough. They just doubled their plant in Burlington, and they doubled their plant in San Francisco, up in Silicon Valley. They got a smaller workforce there. So I'm going through, and the CEO turns to me and says, I can't believe how fast you got us through our permitting process. I said, that's great. He said, you know what? He said, we did the expansion here at the same time we did California. California's a nightmare. He said, those guys are ridiculous. He said, you put up a sheetrock, and they pay an inspector to go count the screws in the sheetrock, and if there aren't enough screws, they don't say put another screw in the sheetrock, they make you take it down and start again. He said it was a nightmare. So these folks that say that, it's just not true. And what we got to tell them is, listen, we got the best workforce, we got the best quality of life, we got the best place to do business. Get over it. Sell what you got. And the funny thing I'll say is this. I have never sold my product in Vermont or anywhere else by telling people how terrible it is before they buy it. So I would say to anyone who's running for governor, going around bad mouthing Vermont, go sell some understate, but leave us Green Mountain folks here prospering as we are right now. Cheer up, Randy. It ain't true. Yeah?
You talk about big businesses and
I don't like those things either.
and how they're growing. What are you doing for small businesses? I mean, my grandmother owns a little corner store. It's hardcore.
What's the corner store? What does she do?
It's Avenue Grocery on Western Avenue here.
Yep. This is what we're trying to do for her. It's real, as you know, as the grocery stores get bigger and boxier, it's harder and harder for our small community stores. We've got the most vibrant downtown program of any state in the country, where we are doing everything in our power, including a campus in downtown Brattleboro, to make sure that we keep both what we call smart growth, people living, working, and shopping in their downtowns. Now, the other thing we do is we don't raise the sales taxes because that drives people in New Hampshire. We keep a reasonable tax policy, and most importantly, we try to ensure that she doesn't have a lot of regulation and red tape so that she can try to survive in a small grocery store business. Now, the other thing I want to say is whenever you ask a question about small business does great in Vermont. It's the backbone of our economy. You have to ask, is it better in the other 49 states? And the fact of the matter is it's really hard for our local small grocers in every state in the country. They've pretty much lost theirs. We've kept ours because we're building our downtowns as places to both live and work, and it's making a huge difference. So it's going to be a struggle. It's tough to be in the small mom and pop grocery store business right now, but we're doing everything we can to help them, including letting them sell lottery tickets, beer, wine, and other things other states don't let them sell. That's where they're making their money now. Yeah?
What are you going to try to do for farmers?
Glad you asked that. So I think I'm the first governor, I don't know how long, that actually owns a dairy farm in Wayne County. So this one I care about in my heart as well as my head. We have the most aggressive, diversified, value-added ag program in the country. We're winning all the other states on farm to plate, farm to fork, farmers markets. Go to Brattleboro and check this one out, and getting the value-added product for our farmers. So when I go up like I did today to Commonwealth Yogurt and announced that $12 million expansion in less than 2 years, guess who benefits? Our dairy farmers. They can't get enough milk right now from Vermont's dairy farmers. So the result is that we have more farms growing in the state right now than we've had in generations. That's one of the best kept secrets, diversified farming. And I think as long as we continue to push our farm to plate, farm to fork, we're going to win on the value-added, locally grown food movement. And we're winning right now of all the 50 states. I want to tell you this story. So before Irene hit, a barn burned down up in northern Vermont of an organic, kind of like Walker Farm on steroids, called Pete's Greens. So anyway, his barn burned down. I called up Pete. I said, hey, we want to help you. You know, you've got stuff going all over the place. We want to keep you strong. You employ all kinds of young farmers. We want to keep you going. And so anyway, we organized this concert up at Higher Ground in Burlington. That's kind of like what Flat Street used to be for Tim Kipp and I, you know, when we were young fellows out dancing. So anyway, we go to this thing, lots of live music. They had a bunch of no-name politicians here. I mean, musicians. I was the only politician. Well, no-name musicians like Grace Potter. Have you ever heard of her? And those guys from, what's that other band? Those guys from, there you go, Fish. They were there. Bunch of no-names. So anyway, they do this. So I get to introduce them, and I do this stuff. You know, I get up early and I go to bed late in this job. I love the work schedule. But anyway, good music, great music. So I say, you know, to my security guys, Jimmy and I don't know who else was there. Were you there that night? No. No, anyway, I got a lot of them. But anyway, and they're good. So anyway, I say, listen, I'm not going home. Like it's 10 o'clock, last stop, I introduce the band, so I'm going to go down to the floor, have a beer, and listen to music. You know, I can do that once in a while, right? Yeah? No? Anyway, I did it. So I go down, and I stand there. My security guys are a little nervous about it, you know, because it's packed. I mean, the place is packed, help just one moment. And the more people drank, you know, the more they wanted to talk to me. Is really how it worked. So the point is this. I'll get to the point. Between 20 and 30 young people under the age of 28 came up to me that night and said, I'm growing pork, I'm growing beef, I'm growing vegetables, I'm making syrup, I'm making caramel out of goat's milk, I mean, whatever. And we're making money farming in Vermont. That's our future. So we're all over it, we're on it, and we're helping them grow. Do you want to be a farmer? Who are they? Oh yeah, they're good farmers. Who's here from Vernon? Vernon, any Vernon people here? Any of you guys know Brendan Bukowski? He went to Bradwell High School. Anyway, he's a dairy farmer. He's farming my farm right now. Anyway, good. Stick with it. Bright ag future. Good jobs. Good money. Yes? Two ways. The question is, how are you going to address poverty? They're not talking about the presidential election. What are you going to do in Vermont? Is that right? Here's the answer. First of all, I am not a believer that we should throw people off the programs and give them a leg up. Second thing I'm going to do is, right now in our various programs that help struggling Vermonters, we have a cliff. And that cliff prohibits people from getting back in their workforce when they want to. And I'm working with Secretary Racine and others to try to be the first state in the country that fixes the cliff. Now that sounds like gobbledygook, so let me tell you how it really works. I go into Sonax. Who's here from Rocky? Anyway, Sonax Industries, they make secondary parts for car markets. They started out in a little garage in Putney. They're a big company now making millions of dollars. And I'm sitting with the CEO, and he says to me, Governor, I want to tell you this story. I hired a woman from Brattleboro. She's 27 years old. She got pregnant when she was 15. She has 3 kids. When you get pregnant when you're 15, as you know, you need some help. Single mom. We gave her that help. The kids are in school, she wants a job. I hire her. I got to hire her at the same wage level I bring other new employees in, 9, 10, 11 bucks an hour, whatever it is. So I do it. She loves her job. We love her. She's brilliant. She feels great about herself. First time in her lifetime she's had a job. She goes home to her kids, and they're proud of her. We're proud of her. She comes to me 4 weeks in and says, Governor, not Governor, Mr. Sonax, I got to quit. In tears. I got to quit. He says, why? Because I lose my child care subsidy, so my kids can't get daycare. I lose my housing subsidy, so I can't keep living where I live. And I lose something else. I don't know what it was. That's crazy. What was it? Food stamps. This is nuts. So let's have a system in Vermont where as you work, your wage level gets some subsidy so that you do better when you go home and see your kids at the end of the day in that situation. You make more money by working than not working. That's the first thing. Second thing is this. Listen, with all the great work we've done in Vermont it's about education. And with all the great work we've done on equalizing the education burden so that everyone has equal access to resources in Vermont, I won't bore you with that one, but we've done a great job on that. We're better than the other 49 states. We've done terribly. We haven't moved the needle one little millimeter on closing the gap between income and educational achievement. Or plain English, not enough low-income kids are getting past high school. That's something we can do a lot better with. If we do those 2 things, break the cliff and get more first-generation kids beyond high school, we will help really reduce poverty in the state. Because there's no better reduction to poverty than a good job. Yeah.
For too long, we have disregarded something that has affected our country in numerous ways. Cannabis, marijuana, weed, pot, whatever you want to call it. There has been an influxation of laws ever since it first became illegal in 1915. Since more than 100 million Americans have tried the drug at some point of their lives, it still stumps me that something that is considered less harmful than alcohol or tobacco is still considered, by law, more detrimental than cocaine or opium. Even the federal government has run a variety of tests, such as the Schaefer report, a 1,148-page long report, which found absolutely no evidence that marijuana causes physical or psychological harm. Knowing that you currently stand for the decriminalization of marijuana, why not begin by amending Senate Bill 76, much like Senate Bill 7, to expand the number of people who can receive recommendations by their doctor for medical marijuana?
Thanks for the question. Let me start by saying this. I hope, as governor, that be truthful, that we don't smoke pot, that we don't drink in excess, we don't smoke cigarettes. I mean, I just think we not do all those things, all right? Now, having said that, the system that we have in America on drugs is crazy. It's insane. Our drug policies work